endorsed by the African Union in 2011, and the African Union has given Tanzania, through that resolution, the responsibility of hosting and coordinating a continental instead of a regional. Initially, it was Tanzania had a regional role because of its historical role in hosting liberation movements in Tanzania, to establish this program in Dar es Salaam, together with the support of the African Union, but also of individual member states. So South Africa established its chapter of the African Liberation Heritage Program, coordinated by Tanzania, commemorating and celebrating the roads to independence of different countries on the continent. So South Africa established its national chapter called the South African Roads to Independence Chapter, and particularly at the time, the Liberation Heritage Route in 2011. In later decisions, Cabinet broadened this conceptualization of the national chapter to include resistance, because initially it only covered liberation. So Cabinet added resistance and liberation heritage route and established the interministerial committee comprising those 12 ministries listed there. A report, Cabinet also requested reports to be presented regularly to Cabinet, later also added the Minister of Transport to the interministerial committee. The rationale for this was the realization that many of the resistance and liberation heritage route sites that Cabinet approved, 3 sites per province, had access problems, physical access to the sites. Many of these sites, particularly the resistance sites, were located in rural areas, and there are issues around physical accessibility of these sites. And as the competency of road infrastructure lies at different spheres of government, implementation of those road infrastructure interventions, Cabinet was of the view should be directed to local government under the directorship of the Minister of Transport. Many of these sites, as I've indicated, lie in rural and traditional communities under the leadership of traditional leaders. We hosted a RLHR workstreams workshop in just a month ago, where the Department of Traditional Affairs committed to provide platforms for DSEC to present the project. And I think this meeting is an outcome of that commitment. And we thank once again the National House for allowing us this opportunity. DSEC took a conscious decision to prioritize the sites associated with the country's liberation heritage for access, road access to these sites. And there are different categories of these sites. The first category is the 27 provincial resistance and liberation heritage route sites, which were approved by Cabinet in 2015. And then there's a second group of sites driven by another work stream, which is a group of 10 sites that is being nominated, has been nominated to UNESCO as the first series in a serial nomination listing these sites as South Africa's sites of resistance and liberation into a route. And eventually the idea is to, together with other sites in the rest of the continent, like Kwanavale in Angola, sites in Botswana and so on, into a serial nomination that we will present to UNESCO over time. So this is the first in a series. This is the second group of sites that we are prioritizing for route access. After submitting the nomination to UNESCO in 2022, UNESCO sent through an evaluation mission to come and look at these sites, and the evaluation mission was here in August and visited, evaluated each of these sites. One of the key problems at most of the sites was, once again, access. And if you want to put these sites on list them as sites of World Heritage Sites that would attract tourism, one of the key things would be accessibility in terms of both road infrastructure, but also signage. COGTA was therefore invited to form part of the visits that the evaluation mission undertook to these sites, but unfortunately COGTA could not make it, and this is one of the gaps that we need to fill going forward, because it impacts on our on the report